Hi friend! If you've just unboxed your Boox Note Max or feel a bit overwhelmed by all the menus, settings and customization options, don't worry, as you're in the right place. This device has the potential to be an incredible productivity tool for you, but with so many features, it can feel like a lot at first. Trust me, I've been there myself. So in this video, we'll go over everything you need to get started, from setting it up and navigating the interface, to organizing your files, importing documents, library and reading, and taking notes. All the necessary things to feel comfortable with this workhorse of a device. And be sure to stick around until the end, where I will share my personal settings and favorite apps to make the experience with Note Max even more organized. There's a lot to cover, so let's dive right in. Let us go through the initial setup first. When you turn on the device for a first time, you will be greeted with the language selection screen. I'll go ahead and choose the English and hit Next. Next, we have the Hello screen, followed by the Terms and Conditions. Unfortunately, there's no way around this one, so we have to agree to continue. So I will accept and move on. Now we need to select our region and time zone. Once that's set, we tap Next. Up next, we have the Auto Sleep and Auto Power Off settings. By default, Auto Sleep is set to 5 minutes, and I'm happy with that, but I will change the Power Off option to 1 hour to save the battery. Once you're happy with your settings, hit Next. Now we get to choose how the bottom navigation bar is displayed. For ease of use, I will keep the bar visible, but you can also opt for gesture controls to maximize screen space. And don't worry, this can always be changed later in the settings. Next, we have the option to enable side swipe gestures. They're pretty straightforward, but I will leave them off for now. Again, you can tweak this later in the settings if needed. After a quick loading screen, setup is complete. And just like that, we've landed on the home screen. Well done. Before we start downloading the apps, let's take a moment to go over the main interface. The Note Max runs on Android, so if you're familiar with an Android phone, a lot of this will feel very intuitive. If you swipe down from the top left, you will access all the push notifications on the device. These could be sync notifications or specific app alerts. If you swipe down from the top right, you will open the Control Center, a quick access menu for commonly used features. You can customize this by tapping the pencil icon, dragging and dropping features, or changing their order. For example, I will remove the feedback and kids mode options. Once you go back, the changes are saved. Looking at the main menu, you will see Library on the top left, Notes on the top right, and default apps listed below. Towards the bottom, there's a quick app access bar. By default, it includes the library app, bookstore, storage settings, and the main settings icon. On that bar, you can drag and drop the apps you use most. For example, I will replace Bookstore with Play Store and Booksdrop, as I use these apps quite a bit. At the very bottom, we have the navigation bar we set up earlier. From left to right, we have Back button, Home button, Background apps, Refresh Mode Manager, and Manual Refresh button for clearing ghosting artifacts. From the home screen, if you swipe to the right, you will reach the Smart Assistant page. This is a widget area where you can add frequently used apps, a search bar, and default widgets like library, reading stats, or notes. Personally, I don't find it very useful, so if you want to disable it altogether, you can do so by going to Settings, Desktop and Screensavers, and turn off Smart Assistant. To add widgets, create new pages, or uninstall apps, just hold down on an empty area of the home screen. This opens the home screen manager. Swiping right lets you add a new page, where you can place widgets like Quick Switch or Calendar Memo. As you install third-party apps, they may also offer their own widgets that you can see on that list too. On the home screen, you can hold and move any app or widget around to organize your layout. The first thing I do when I receive a new device is install some extra apps. To do this, we first need to connect to Wi-Fi. Go to Settings, VLAN, turn on VLAN, which is Wi-Fi, select your network and enter the password. Once connected, you should see the Wi-Fi icon next to the battery indicator. This means we're good to go. Next, let's open the Play Store. The first time you launch it, you will see the app optimization screen, which is to be expected. Boox uses AI to optimize apps by applying the best refresh mode for each one. I choose to enable the small badge icon that appears next to optimized apps. I recommend going through the tutorial and keeping the default settings. Later, I will show you how to adjust optimization settings for individual apps. Once we finish the tutorial, we need to log in to our Google account. After that, we can start downloading apps. The first apps I usually install are Google Suite, so Gmail, Google Docs, Gboard, Chrome, Google Maps, Google Drive and YouTube. Then I also install Evernote, WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack and any other apps I may need. Once installed, apps will appear on the home screen, and if they don't fit, they will be added to a new page. If we check the widgets menu now, we will see many more widgets available from the apps we just installed. When you open a newly installed app for the first time, it will ask you if you want to allow notifications. And you can always change this later in the settings or within the app's permissions. If you want to manage an app's settings and permissions, press and hold the app on the home screen, then tap Manage. Here you can check the storage usage, review permissions, or adjust notification settings. Now that we know how to install apps and navigate the interface, let's move some books and documents onto the device. Before we jump to the next section, I just want to ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this video. Appreciate your support. There are several ways to import books onto the Note Max, and I will go over the 3 most common methods. Of course, there are more options, but these should cover most people's needs. The easiest way to transfer files is by using Boox Drop. This app lets you send files from another device like your phone, tablet, PC or Mac, as long as both devices are on the same Wi-Fi network. To start, open the Boox Drop app from the home screen, where you will see a page displaying an IP address. Enter that IP address into a web browser on your other device, making sure to type it correctly. Once the page loads, you will see the Boox Drop interface. From here, you can send documents by clicking Send to Books and selecting the files you want to transfer. You can also drag and drop them directly into the page. What makes this method great is that it supports multiple files at once with no size limit. So even large documents like 1 GB files can be transferred with no problem. It may take some time, of course, but it works. A progress bar at the bottom right of the screen will indicate when the transfer is complete. One important thing to note is that Boox Drop allows transfers both ways, meaning you can also send files from your Note Max to your other device. Once the transfer is done, returning to the home screen will show the newly imported documents already in the library. However, keep in mind the Boox Drop runs in the background unless you turn it off. If you see a transfer icon at the top right corner of the screen, it means it's still active and running in the background. To disable it, simply go to the control center and turn it off. Another way to import books is by linking the books library to a cloud service like Google Drive, OneDrive or Evernote. To do this, open the Library app and go to Integrations, where you will find several options. I will use Google Drive as an example. Since I've already logged into my Google account, the process is smooth and I don't need to enter my credentials again. Once the account is linked, a prompt will appear asking whether I want to enable cloud functions within the Books library and Notes. I usually enable all of them. After that, selecting Go to Cloud Storage will bring up the linked Google Drive account. From there, it's as simple as tapping on the folder, selecting the books I want and downloading them. The files will then appear in a new folder, also known as a bookshelf, inside the library, and it is named after my Google Drive account. If needed, I can link other services like OneDrive or Dropbox the same way. A third method is to install a cloud storage app directly onto the device. This is useful for those who prefer accessing their storage through an app rather than built-in integration. For example, after downloading the Google Drive app from the Play Store and logging in, I can browse my files, select the ones I need, and download them directly from the app. Now that the books and documents are imported, let's go over how to view them. When you open the library, you will see all the books and documents you've uploaded so far. At the top right, there's the library list where you can quickly access recently opened books, all stored books, library-related folders, cloud integrations, and any documents you've marked as favorites. Just to the right of that, you will find the search icon, reading stats that can sync to your Onyx book account, and an additional menu for sorting books, creating bookshelves like the one linked to Google Drive, and adjusting library settings. Inside the library settings, there's an option to sync all reading materials to your Onyx Books account, which offers 10 GB of free storage. You can also specify additional folders within the device to be included in the library and customize the library list layout as needed. Opening a PDF or any document in the library launches the default Books app called NeoReader. Navigation is simple. Swiping left or right moves between pages. If you try pinching the screen to zoom, a prompt will ask if you want to enable pinch to zoom, which is a great feature, so I usually enable it. For quick access to the navigation menu, just swipe up from the bottom of the screen. On the right side, there's a floating toolbar that can be revealed with a tap. This menu offers options like AI Assistant, zoom settings, page turning controls, and additional features available by pressing the three-dot menu. If you don't need this toolbar, it can be disabled in the settings. To access the reading menu, tap the middle of the page. There are plenty of settings to explore here, but a few stand out. The style and contrast sections allow adjustments to page display style, margins, text formatting, and image details. Another useful feature here is split view, which lets you display the document on one side while taking handwritten notes or running a third-party app on the other. There's also Smart Scribe, designed for both reading and writing, which offers a more natural experience. Pressing the eye icon will explain each function in detail, and I personally keep them all enabled because they're all incredibly useful. One last section worth mentioning is the reading menu's settings. This area offers a lot of customization, but one setting I often tweak is Touch area. This lets you define what happens when tapping different parts of the screen. The default layout works well, but since I also use a Kindle, I like to match its touch controls with Boox for consistency. There are plenty of options here, and since each one is clearly explained, it's easy to fine-tune the experience to your preference. Now that we've covered library and reading, let's move on to notes and writing. The Notes widget on the home screen is a nice touch since you don't even need to open the app to start jotting things down. It has two icons, one for creating text notes where you type using the keyboard, and another for handwritten notes where you use the stylus. Tapping on handwritten notes instantly opens a new note with a randomly generated name, which can be changed right away. There's also a selection of at least 40 templates to choose from, and if that's not enough for you, you can always create your own. Once the name and templates are set, hitting create brings up a blank page, ready for writing, drawing, or sketching. Swiping to the right adds a new blank page with the page number updating in the top right corner. For pen customization, tapping the pen icon at the top reveals different pen and brush types, color options, and line thickness adjustments. If you frequently switch between tools, the system allows you to save custom pens. Simply tapping the pen icon with a plus sign creates a new one. This makes it easy to have a dedicated highlighter, brush, and pen, each set up exactly as needed. Next to the pen tools is the eraser icon, offering different erasing methods, including a lasso tool, whole stroke erasing, and options to erase specific layers or even all layers on the page. Speaking of the layers, the sidebar menu houses an extensive set of features. It starts with template selection and layer controls at the top, then moves down to margins, shapes, filling tools, gesture settings, AI assistance, sharing options, file and link insertion, lasso selection, text box creation, voice note recording, and even the ability to add new pages. Since not all of these features are always necessary, the three-dot menu at the bottom allows for full customization of this panel, which is great for decluttering. The sidebar itself is flexible. It can be moved to the right side for left-handed users like myself. It can be also collapsed into a floating bar or minimized entirely by tapping the icon at the top. There's a lot to explore here, and while the number of options may seem overwhelming at first, they're designed to be intuitive, so it won't take you long to get the hang of them. One standout feature I think is worth mentioning is handwriting to text conversion. Once a handwritten note is complete, there are multiple ways to convert it. Using the lasso tool to select handwriting and then tapping the AI icon will instantly transform it into text, though this method doesn't retain the original handwriting. Another approach is selecting AI from the sidebar and choosing the text recognition. This offers more flexibility, allowing the converted text to replace the original handwriting, or be copied to the clipboard for use elsewhere, or be inserted as text on the same page or shared as a PDF or text file. It's truly remarkable. Wait, remarkable? That's a different... never mind. Now that we've covered the Notes app and writing, let's talk about refresh modes. Boox devices come with Boox Super Refresh technology, which automatically adjusts refresh rates based on the type of content you're viewing. The goal here is to minimize ghosting while keeping interactions smooth and responsive. There are 4 different refresh modes, though not all of them are available in every app. Regal and normal modes provide the best image quality with the least amount of ghosting, but they can come with a stronger screen flicker or refresh effect. These are ideal for reading books, printed text and comics where clarity is most important. Speed and A2 modes prioritize performance, making them great for multimedia, web browsing and even video playback. They introduce more ghosting but create a much smoother experience when scrolling or interacting with the dynamic content. Switching between these modes allows you to customize the experience depending on what you're doing. If you're focused on reading, high-quality refresh mode will ensure crisp text, while for faster interaction, a lower latency mode will keep things feeling fluid. With refresh modes out of the way, I just want to share a few personal things I enjoy doing on my Max Note. Maybe you will find something useful here. One of the first things I do is enable a gentle sound for taps and selections while disabling the charging sound. It's a small detail, but it makes interactions feel more satisfying. To set this up, go to Settings, then Sound, then More Sound Settings, and turn on touch sound while disabling charging sound. Security is important to me, so I always set a lock screen password to keep my data private. You can do this by heading to Settings, then Password and Security, and selecting Lock Screen Password. For typing, I love using the Gboard keyboard. Voice typing and glide typing make everything so much faster and smoother. It's a great addition to the device and I highly recommend it. When it comes to browsing, I use eInk Bro, a browser designed specifically for e-ink screens. It's not available on the Play Store, so to install it, open your browser, search for eInk Bro APK and download it through the F-Droid App Store. It's a fantastic browser, but if you prefer Google, Chrome works great too. I hope that with this video you feel more comfortable using your Note Max. And if you found it helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out and keeps me motivated to bring you more content. I'd also like to hear from you. How has your experience been with the Note Max? Are there any features or apps you love or things you'd like to see improved? Drop a comment down below as I read them all and would love to hear your thoughts. And this isn't all. If you want to learn some cool tips and tricks to get even more out of your Note Max, check out this video right here. And if you'd like to check out a full review of its smaller brother, Boox Note Air 4C, click right here. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!